Jaya Radha Madhava Kunya Vihari Madhava Kunya Vihari Radha Supat Manamahansa Parvakara Osuteta Satashi Shimad, Divine Grace of Ayachatna, Bhaktivinoda Goswami Mahashila Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON, Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrindavan Ki Jai, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Friends, say Guru Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Radha Shiva Siddhi Gaur Bhakta Vrindavan Ki Jai, Shri Radha Krishna Gopal Saim Kuru Radha Vrinda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai, Vrindavan Ki Jai, Ram Ki Jai, Swami Ki Jai, Murlai Ki Jai, Shivadi Tulasi Devi Ki Jai, Samveda Bhakta Vrindavan Ki Jai, Gaura Premananda, all glories to some devotees, all glories to some devotees, all glories to some devotees, all glories to Shri Guru Govardhan Shila Prabhupada Ki Jai. We're going to continue with Vrindavan. So these are the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan. And by their mercy, we're able to understand these holy places. And now we're entering into Vrindavan area. And also by the mercy of His divine grace, A.C. Bhaktivinoda Goswami Srila Prabhupada, who has revealed the holy Dham to us. These are some views of Vrindavan. So here's the general outline. So there's Mathura over there. And Vrindavan is right up here. And previously, just before this, we had visited Gokul and Dauji. And the Rabble's off there too. This actually shows you better. So there's previously, remember, we went to Rabble, and Gokul, and Dauji, and now we cross the Jamuna again to go to Vrindavan. Map of the city of Vrindavan. And this is the path, the Parikrama path. It takes about 2 hours to do the circumambulation of Vrindavan. And this is what we call chronology, that means what happened at different times. I'm going to go over this very quickly. In 1486, Lord Chaitanya, of course, appeared. And then shortly after that, Rupa and Sanatan appeared, Raghunath Das and Gopal Bhatta Raghunath Goswami appeared. Jiva Goswami was the last to appear in 1513. He was the youngest of the Goswamis. And in 1515, Lord Chaitanya visited Vrindavan. And the year afterwards, Rupa and Sanatan came to Vrindavan. And then gradually the other Goswamis came to Vrindavan. And 1534, Lord Chaitanya disappeared from this mortal world. And in 1535, Jiva Goswami came to Vrindavan. And then let's see what else. Radha Mandiri appeared in 1542. Jiva Goswami excavated the Radha Kund area in 1545. And let's see, 1571, Raghunath Das Goswami's disappearance. Then shortly after that, Gopal Bhatta Goswami disappeared. And Raghunath Bhatta Goswami disappeared. And the last personality to disappear was Jiva Goswami. And right after their disappearance, actually about 70 years after their disappearance, this terrible person named Aurangzeb tore apart many temples. Aurangzeb is considered to be an incarnation of who in Krishna Lila? Who? Hamsa. Okay. And who was Aurangzeb's father? What? Shahjahan. And what is Shahjahan known for? Being in love.
tako što je bio zaljubljen.
And so he constructed. Some people say the Taj Mahal was an ancient Shiva temple.
Kažu da je Taj Mahal bio drevni hram Šive.
But in any case, he dedicated it to the memory of his beloved wife.
U sjećanje svoje drage žene.
But it shows you how temporary these things are in this world.
Su privremene stvari u ovom svijetu.
He could not even enjoy the Taj Mahal because his final years he spent in prison, looking at the Taj Mahal from the prison window. Because his father put him in prison. What? Oh, son, sorry. Son put him in prison. Yeah. And so, surrounding Vrindavan is the Yamuna River.
Ono što okružuje Vrindavan je rijeka Yamuna.
And here is Yamuna Devi.
Evo Yamuna Devi.
And if you take shelter of Yamuna Devi, who will you not have to see?
Koga ne morate vidjeti?
Yamaraj, who is what relationship? Brother of Yamuna. Who is the father?
Brat Yamune. Ko je Yamunin otac?
The son. Okay.
Misli sin.
Coward Boy Trail around. Here's the divine samadhi of His Divine Grace Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada left this world in November 1977. When Srila Prabhupada left this world, I became very determined to dedicate my life completely to Srila Prabhupada's mission, so right afterwards I took sannyas, immediately after his disappearance. Of course, there's the worshiping deities, Krishna, Balaram, and Krishna Mandir, Krishna Gora. Who's that? That's an easy question. These are different views of the Krishna Balaram Mandir. This is the entrance to the Krishna Balaram Mandir. From Bhaktivedanta Swami Marg. That means street is named after Srila Prabhupada. Beautiful construction. And here's the gate, right before you enter the city of Vrindavan, the Bhaktivedanta Swami gate, named after Srila Prabhupada. And here we are at the Goshana, the ISKCON Goshana. There's Anuradha again. You see how happy I am in Vrindavan? That's where we all belong. So as we proceed on the Parikrama path, the first thing we come to is the Krishna Balaram tree. This means there's a white tree and the black tree growing from the same trunk. And this indicates that Krishna and Balaram used to play in this area. This area is called Madan. That means pleasurable sands. Also, it's the area where Lord Krishna would meet Radharani to plan out their various pastimes. Here we are taking shelter of the tree. And of course, all the trees in Vrindavan are desire trees. We already told the story about how you have to make your desire for Krishna very strong. Because if you have the wrong desire, you end up getting in trouble. Lord Vraja deity there. Actually, there's an interesting story about this Lord Vraja deity. Once upon a time, Krishna was bragging to the gopis that I'm the Supreme Personality of God. And we know when Krishna bragged, sometimes to prove that, he would exhibit his form as Lord Vishnu lying on the milk ocean. At this particular location, He exhibited his form as Lord Vraja,
oblikao gospodina Rahade.
the boar incarnation of the Supreme
Inkarnacija
Personality of
lepa,
God.
središnja božanska osoba.
So this evening marks the spot where Krishna showed Srimati Radharani that he is Lord Vraja.
Da je on gospodina Rahade.
And that's right next to Kaliyagat.
Kaliyagata.
Now Kaliyagat is named for the Kaliya serpent. The Kaliya serpent was poisoning the Yamuna. And the cows were dying, and the cattle boys had passed out. And Krishna jumped into the Yamuna from this tree. And this tree was the only tree, the only tree that was alive along the banks of the Yamuna. And the reason that tree was alive was previously Garuda, the bird carrier of Lord Krishna, had dropped some nectar on the tree. And this is the sacred Kadamba tree. Of course, interesting, the Kadamba tree also represents Serbian. Does anyone know? No, it doesn't represent Krishna. What does it represent? Radharani. And what is the tree that represents Krishna? That's interesting. When we were making the Krishna Balaram Mandir, there was a tamal tree right in the middle of the construction site. And the devotees just wanted to chop it down. So Prabhupada instructed us to make the design around the tamal tree. So the tamal tree stood in the courtyard. Unfortunately, later on that particular tamal tree passed away. And later on the devotees planted another one. Kaliya Krishna. Does anyone know where Prabhupada instructed the devotees to install the deity of Kaliya Krishna? Fiji. Because Prabhupada said that after Kaliya was chastised by Krishna and told to leave, he went to Fiji. And to this day, the natives actually know where he lives. When the devotees first went to Fiji, they showed pictures from Srila Prabhupada's books of Kaliya. And the natives said immediately, that's our deity. And so he lives on a mountain in a particular location of Fiji. If any of you ever want to go see him, just tell me, I'll arrange for you to go see Kaliya. What? No, why not? He's a devotee.
So he's still alive?
He's still alive, yeah. He's still alive in the mountain. He has a cave in the mountain that's connected with a tunnel to the ocean. And I'll tell you a very interesting story that proves this. Once upon a time, many years ago, in our first temple in Fiji, there were very fanatic groups of another religion. They were Protestant. So that won't affect any of you here. So what they did is that there were 5 young men who firebombed the temple with Molotov cocktails. Everyone knows what a Molotov cocktail is? You have experience here. So half of the temple burned. I mean, we had to replace the Prabhupada deity. And of course the temple was renovated. But within 2 years, all those 5 people left their bodies. And it's not that we did anything, don't worry. Some of them left, one person left his body in an automobile accident, another person fell when he was climbing. Each a different circumstance. And then the chief of the village, because Fiji has all these native chiefs, it's a Polynesian country where you have these, big chiefs like this. And it used to be called the Cannibal Islands. Because when the first Christians went there, then the chief said, Shavira Vijaya. And they cooked the first Christians, but they had never seen shoes before. So they thought the shoes were part of the body. So they said, well, this is a very hard part of the body to eat. So they could only make soup from the boots. So anyway, so you get the idea of what the chiefs are. That's how I explained it. So the chief had this dream, and Kaliya appeared to him. And Kaliya said, if you ever hurt any of my devotees or temples again, I'll kill all of you. So to this day, nobody bothers us. Everybody's scared of the devotees. Good story. So Kaliya is there. And you want to come and see, I'll take you. Okay. And then right next to this Kaliya is the Prabhupada Samadhi Mandir. This Prabhupada Saraswati was the brother of Venkata Bhatta, or the uncle of Gopal Bhatta Goswami. And he was from South India. And he took a vow never to leave Vrindavan. And he was one of the most intimate associates of the six Goswamis of Vrindavan, and wrote many books about Krishna consciousness. This is the Kaliya Mardana deity. Remember how I mentioned that Vajranava had installed all these deities, the great grandson of Krishna? This is one of the original deities. In other words, this deity is 5,000 years old. You'll find the deity on a little, I guess it's called the cupola, right near the temple, where the Kaliya tree is. The banyan tree is called Advaita Bhakti. This is where Advaitacharya performed his bhajan. And here he discovered the deity of Madan, who later on became known as Madan Mohan. And he left that deity in the hands of the Mathura Brahmin. And that Mathura Brahmin, as I mentioned before, was treated the deity just like his son. We'll tell a little bit about that story. Then there's the Radha Mandal Mohan temple, which is on the top of a hill called Dvadasa Dicha. That Dvadasa Dicha means 12 suns. The reason it's called 12 suns is when Krishna chastised the Kaliya serpent. He came out of the river and he was freezing. So he got on top of this hill and the sun shone 12 times the normal heat and brilliance. And dried Krishna up. And that's where Sanatana Goswami established the Madan Mohan temple. Here's Radha Madan Mohan. We're in Karoli right now. Because they were taken out of Vrindavan because of the attacks of the Muslims. So the way Madan Mohan was found,
Kako je pronađen Madan Mohan?
remember I said he was in the house of a Brahmin in Mathura. And Sanatana Goswami went to that house and he said to the Brahmin, you should not be treating the deity just like a child. And then that night, Sanatana Goswami had a dream and the deity chastised him. And the deity said, you're ruining all my fun. And so now you have to take it. So later on, Sanatana Goswami took Madan Mohan. And he worshipped him, he hung him in a tree. And all he offered him was some sun-dried bread balls. And the deity started to complain. He said, why don't you give me some salt? And Sanatana Goswami said, today you were asking for salt, tomorrow you're going to want butter. I'm just a poor sannyasi. I'm supposed to be writing books. So you have to get your own food. So the deity arranged his own food by arranging for a very rich salt merchant to get stuck on the sandbar of the river. And then that merchant prayed to Madan Mohan. And there was a rainstorm and the boat became unstuck. And he dedicated the profits to Madan Mohan, the Govinda's temple. The merchant's name was Ramdas Kapoor. Here's Sanatana Goswami talking to Madan Mohan and giving him some dried bread balls. And the Bhajan Kutir is Sanatana Goswami, and there's a very interesting wells, one of the few sweet water wells right at that Bhajan Kutir. It was Samadhi Murti, Sanatana Goswami, because there's a whole group of Samadhis right next to the temple. Rupa and Sanatana. And in that group of Samadhis, there's something called the Grantha Samadhi. Grantha Samadhi means the Samadhi of literatures, spiritual literatures. So many of the writings of the Goswamis are encased within this particular Samadhi. And also the Samadhis of Tapan Mishra and Chandrasekhar Acharya, who were both sent to Varanasi to assist Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when he got there. And who was Tapan Mishra's son? Does anyone remember? Very famous. Raghunath Bhatta Goswami. Now it's very interesting that Lord Chaitanya instructed both Raghunath Bhatta Goswami and Gopal Bhatta Goswami to stay with their parents. Whereas he instructed basically Raghunath Das Goswami to get the hell out of there. And he said that Raghunath Das Goswami's parents were like what and what? Does anyone remember Chaitanya Charitamrita? Worms in stool. What does that mean? I mean, I know what it means. I know what stool is and I know what worms are. The reason that explanation is given is that what happens when you take a worm out of stool? He starts crying and he wants to go back. So, Lord Chaitanya was using that particular example because the father and uncle of Raghunath Das Goswami were devotees of the Lord. They accepted, understood Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. However, they were still interested in material enjoyment. What does that mean for us? Don't answer. That if you I won't say.
Neću reći.
So if you've accepted and you're serving Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, I'll say, and you're still interested in material enjoyment,
za čulno uživanje.
you're a blank and blank.
Prazna crta i prazna crta.
No further comment.
Nemam više komentara.
So, but the point is that Raghunath Bhatta Goswami's parents,
Bhatta Goswami, njegovi roditelji,
also Gopal Bhatta Goswami's parents,
također roditelji Gopal Bhatta
were
Goswami,
pure devotees. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya said, stay with your parents.
Ostanite sa svojim roditeljima.
So if you want your children to stay with you and take care of you,
Da naša djeca ostanu sa vama i brinu sa vama,
make sure you're pure devotees.
pobrinite se da budete čisti bhakti.
Or else I'm going to tell your children to leave
Inače,
you.
ću reći našoj djeci da vas napuste.
What's that?
And join me.
Enjoyment. Okay. So these are the Pratibhu or replica deities of Radha Madan Mohan.
Ovo su Pratibhu, odnosno replike božanstva Radha Madan Mohana.
And of course he's in Jamuna River, real close to the Madan Mohan temple.
Vrlo blizu Madan Mohan hrama.
Next we come to the Asta Saki temple.
Hrama Asta Saki.
This was established by King of West Bengal,
Kralj zapadnog Bengala,
who was an initiated
koji je bio
disciple
inicirani učenik
of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta
Sarasvati
Saraswati.
Thakura.
The king's wife had a
Kraljeva
dream
žena usnila je san,
where Lord Krishna asked her to build this temple for
Krishna
the
je
Asta
zatražio
Sakis.
od nje da sagradi ovaj hram za sadue.
And so you see the Asta Sakis in this temple.
Vidjeli ste Asta Saki u ovom hramu. Evo ih.
Beautiful temple. Has anyone been in this temple?
Veliko bio u ovom hramu.
Very important temple, yeah. This is constructed under the order of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta
To je
Saraswati.
sagrađeno pod naređenjem Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakura.
No, they're about this big. Not very big. And then in the back of the temple, in the courtyard, there's a beautiful carving
je prekrasna razbarija.
of Radha and Krishna under a
Razbarija
tree.
Radha Krishna pod drvetom.
Next we come to Davanala
Dolazimo do
Kund.
Davanala Kunde.
And this refers to a forest fire.
To se odnosi na šumski požar.
So in this particular place, Lord Krishna protected the inhabitants of Vrindavan, especially the cowboys, by inhaling the fire.
Tako što je u progutao usisao požar.
It's called Davanala
Zato
Kund.
se to zove Davanala
And
Kunde.
this is the place where Krishna
Ovo
rested.
je mjesto gdje se Krishna hrvao.
Vishram means
Odmorio
to
se.
rest.
Vishram znači odmarati se.
There's also a Vishram Kund
Također tu je
where
Vishram
Krishna
Kunda
rested after he
gdje
killed
se
Kamsa.
Krishna
And several Vishram
odmarao nakon
Kunds.
što je ubio Kamsu. Postoje nekoliko Vishram Kundi u Vrindavanu.
There's a Jaipur
Ovo
temple
je Džajpurski hram,
where you'll see Radha
gdje ćete
Govinda.
vidjeti božanstva Radha Govinda.
Next we come to the temple of Lord Nrsimhadev.
Hrama gospodina Nrsimhadeva,
He's carved out of wood.
izrezbaren je iz drveta.
And he's one of the few
I on je
Nrsimhadev
jedan od
deities.
nekolicine božanstava Nrsimhadeva u Vrindavanu.
The other one we showed you was at the tail of Govardhan.
Drugi koji smo vam pokazali se nalazi na repu Govardhana.
Both of these are Ugra Nrsimhadev.
Obojca su Ugra Nrsimhadev.
Ugra means
Ugra
ferocious.
znači gnjevan.
When the Ugra Nrsimhadev deity was being carved from Mayapur,
Je bio izrezbaren za Majapur.
Stapati was carving him, had him in his house.
Stapati ga je stavio u svoju kuću.
And there was a terrible fire there.
Izbio je tu užasan požar.
And he called the devotees and said, take him away immediately.
Nosite ga odmah. Nosite ga u Majapur.
So you have to be very careful when
Morate
you're
biti jako
worshiping.
pažljivi kada obožavate
Nrsimha.
Ugra Nrsimhu.
He's only supposed to be worshipped by
Samo
Ishti
trebaju
Brahmachari.
obožavati najštika Brahmachari.
For those who are married, you
Za
worship
neke koji
Lakshmi
su oženjeni,
Nrsimha,
vi
Palak
obožavate
Nrsimha.
Lakshmi Nrsimha
But
ili
Ugra
Palak
Nrsimha,
Nrsimha.
you'd be very
Ali
careful.
Ugra Nrsimhu s njim morate
Especially if
biti
you're not
jako
in
pažljivi,
Mayapur.
posebno ako niste u Majapuru.
Yeah. Also, in Balaji Mandir, which is right near there, you'll find Raghunath Das Goswami's Bhagavatam,
Bhagavatam Raghunath Das Goswami,
which is preserved.
on je sačuvan.
So Radha Dasa Goswami was famous for chanting the Srimad Bhagavatam. He chanted in 3 different melodies or ragas. And while he would chant the Srimad Bhagavatam, the people listening would be overcome with what we call vyabhachari bhavas. And they would faint and swoon in ecstasy. And that's right at the Radha Vallabha temple. Okay, and this Radha Vallabha temple was established by Harivamsa Goswami, who was a disciple of Gopal Bhatta Goswami. Then we get to Yugal Ghat, which is a temple over 500 years old. And Sevakunj. Sevakunj is where Radha and Krishna dance the rasa dance every night. And it's said that even the monkeys, they go away during the evening. I know one person who stayed there at night. Of course, they say that people either go crazy or they die and they stay there at night. So what he did is he covered himself with something like branches or something so people wouldn't see him. Because he wanted to see Radha and Krishna dance. For the next day he was completely crazy, he couldn't speak clearly anymore. So he went completely crazy. Because you can't push yourself into the middle of Radha and Krishna's pastimes. It's very, very dangerous. So different views of the Sevakunj. And there's a little kund in the middle of Sevakunj called Lalita Kund. And also there's a deity of Purnamasi, who is the incarnation of Yoga Maya, Krishna's internal potency. And we mentioned before, she's the mother of Sandipani Muni. So Srila Rupa Goswami used to worship the deity of Yoga Maya. And he also installed the deity of Yoga Maya in Govindaji temple. And there's a Sitanath temple. Sitanath, of course, means Advaitacharya and Sita Devi, his wife. And from this temple, one can see Sevakunj and all the gardens around, of course, the Radha Damodar temple. And if one goes to the rooftop of the temple, one can see a panoramic view of the whole Vrindavan. Lord Chaitanya resided here, and he chanted the holy names. It's called Imli Tal. Imli means like a tamal tree. And this tree was the favorite place of Srimati Radharani. Once during a rasa performance, Radharani suddenly left, and Krishna found her missing. So he was feeling great separation from Srimati Radharani. And he sat down beneath this particular tree and chanted her name, Radhe, Radhe. Very interesting story. And as he was chanting her name, guess what happened? He turned golden, the color of Srimati Radharani. At that time, Srimati Radharani came back and said, "You look like me." She was astounded to see the golden form of Krishna. Of course, we also worship the golden form of Krishna. He's called what? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Radharani is called He, which means golden. And Radharani asked Krishna the meaning. What is the meaning of this golden form? And then he explained to her in the Kali Yuga, this is the way I will appear, and I will preach Krishna consciousness. So this Imlital is a very important place for the followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Važno mjesto za sljedbenike Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
There's some of our devotees there.
Ima nekih naših bhakta.
And you'll see some of the displays.
I vidjet ćete
There's the deity of Lord Chaitanya in Imlital.
Slike, evo i božanstva gospodina Chaitanya u Imlitali.
Yeah, footprints too, and then there's different relief displays of Lord Chaitanya's pastimes.
Postoje različiti relikvni prikazi zabava gospodina Chaitanya.
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in front of the chariot,
Gospodin Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ispred kuće u Jagannath Puri.
Krishna's rasa dance.
Krishna Dasa ples.
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in front of the Jagannath temple.
Hrama gospodina Jagannatha.
Lord Chaitanya being saved from the ocean by the fishermen.
Ribari koji spašavaju gospodina Chaitanya iz okeana.
The Samadhi of Haridas Thakur,
Samadhi Haridas Thakur,
which Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally filled.
Gospodin Chaitanya Mahaprabhu lično ispunio.
The Transcendental Boat Festivals at the Narendra Sarovara.
Narendra Sarovara.
The Paniyati Festival, Radha Goswami. Lord Chaitanya and
Gospodin Chaitanya,
Rupa Goswami and Haridas Thakur, Jagannath Puri.
U Jagannath Puri, Haridas Thakur.
And discovering Lord Chaitanya, discovering Radha Kund.
Gospodin Chaitanya koji je otkrio Radha Kund.
And Vallabhacharya, the head of the Vallabhacharya sect, so meeting Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Kako pozdravlja gospodin Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Lord Chaitanya meeting Sanatana Goswami in Benares.
Sreće Sanatana Goswamija u
At the house of Tapan Mishra.
U Benaresu, u kući Tapan Mishra.
And then also Nimai.
I također Nimai.
With Sachimata.
Sa Sachimatom.
And Lord Chaitanya with his discourse to Ramananda Roy on the banks of the Godavari.
Ramananda Roy na obali rijeke Godavari.
Then we get to the famous Radha Damodar temple, which Srila Prabhupada described as his eternal residence. Here's the deities of the Radha Damodar temple. The replica or Pratibhu Murtis. Radha Vrindavan Chandra, Krishna Dasa Goswami's deity. Radha Damodar with Lalita to the left. That's Jiva Goswami. Radha Madhava from Jayadev Goswami. Radha Chal Chikhan from Bhugarva Goswami. And Sanatana Goswami is Govardhan Shila.
Govardhan Shila Sanatana Goswami ispred oltara.
And that Govardhan Shila has the footprints of Lord Krishna. So in the Radha temple there is the Samadhi of Jiva Goswami, Krishna Dasa Goswami, Jiva Goswami's Samadhi Murti, Krishna Dasa Goswami writing the chart, Chaitanya Charitamrita, which he did at and also Pushpa Samadhi of Bhakti-Siddhanta Saraswati. That works.
Thank you.
And then this is the whole Samadhi area at the Radha Damodar temple. Bhajan Kutir of Rupa Goswami. Rupa Goswami's Samadhi.
Samadhi Rupa Goswami.
We get the view of that. And Samadhi Murti inside the Samadhi of Rupa Goswami.
Samadhi Rupa Goswami.
The six Goswamis of Vrindavan would usually meet inside the courtyard at the Radha Damodar temple to discuss the Srimad Bhagavatam and other items of Krishna Katha. And Srila Prabhupada would reside in his rooms there, preach Krishna consciousness before he came to the Western world. Srila Prabhupada would look out at his window at the Samadhi of Rupa Goswami and derive great inspiration for the mission that his spiritual master had given him. Preaching Krishna consciousness in the English language. Prabhupada's Bhajan Kutir. Two sides.
Bhajan Kutir Srila Prabhupada.
One side Prabhupada's Bhajan Kutir, and the other side, the courtyard, the small entranceway. There was the kitchen, and prasadam room of Srila Prabhupada.
I prasadam koji se nudi Srila Prabhupada.
Okay, it's Radha Damodar Temple.
Hram Radha Damodar.
Next we get to Govinda Ghats.
Govinda Ghata.
This is one of the many ghats along the banks of the
Jedan od mnogih gatova duž obala rijeke Jamune.
The Yamuna used to be closer, of course this
bila prije bliže.
the Yamuna receded since then.
Povukla se od tada.
Govinda Ghat was also where Krishna would regularly meet the gopis.
Regularno se sastajao sa gopijama.
Shingara Ghat is where Lord Nityananda resided,
je mjesto gdje je gospodin Nityananda prebivao
and he performed his bhajan.
Tu je radio svoj bhajan.
And this is also the place
Ovo je također mjesto
where Krishna decorated Srimati Radharani.
Krishna ukrašavao Srimati Radharani.
And Srimati Radharani sat on the companionship while she was being decorated by Lord Shri Krishna.
Gospodin Shri Krishna ukrašavao.
This is where Krishna decorated.
Evo gdje je Krishna ukrašavao Srimati Radharani.
And nearby you find Shaimananda Pandit's Pushpa Samadhi.
Pushpa Samadhi Shaimananda Pandita.
Previously we've already told the story of Shaimananda Pandit.
Priču o Shaimanandi.
Shaimananda got his name
Zato što je dobio svoje ime od Srimati Radharani.
And here's the Tilak Stan,
Evo
where he
Tilak
received
Stan.
his Shaimananda Tilak.
Je dobio svoj Shaimananda Tilak od Srimati Radharani.
We've seen these pictures before in the previous slideshow.
Slike u prethodnim slajd.
Shaimananda giving the ankle bell to Radharani.
Vraća nanogicu Srimati Radharani.
And Radharani giving Shaimananda his famous Tilak
njegov
card.
poznati Tilak.
And then Radharani gave the deity
je dala božanstvo
to Shaimananda. This is the deity personally given by Radharani to
božanstvo koje je
Shaimananda.
lično dala Srimati Radharani Shaimanandi.
See, it's a very, very special
Shama
deity.
Sundar.
Came right from
Vrlo posebno božanstvo koje je došlo od same Radharani. Evo izbliza prikaz.
And then we come to the
Zatim dolazimo do čega?
Vankhandi Mahadev.
Vankhandi Mahadev hrama.
This, of course, is one of
Ovo je
the
naravno
temples to
jedan
Lord
od
Shiva,
hramova gospodina Šive,
where Lord Shiva guards the holy
gdje
dam.
gospodin Šiva čuva svetu damu.
And there's the Murari Gupta's temple near there, where he has established the deities of Shishi Gora Nitai.
Gdje su postavljene božanstva Šiši Gora Nitai.
And there's a newer temple called the Saji Temple, which was established in 1835.
Koji je uspostavljen 1835. godine.
And I don't have any pictures, but real near there is the Mirabai Temple.
Tu je u blizini hram Mirabai.
Mirabai was a Rajput princess.
Je bila princeza iz Rajputa.
And she was always just interested in Krishna,
Nju je interesirao uvijek samo Krishna.
rather than her family affairs.
Porodičnom poslovi.
Eventually she was forced by her family to take poison.
Ju je prisilila da popije otrov.
And it's described she entered into the deity.
Opisano je da je ona ušla u božanstvo.
So there's a very small temple that she established there. Very small, beautiful temple surrounded by many leaves and flowers. Has anyone been there?
Drvećem i cvijećem. Je li neko bio tamo?
Which is right near the Saji temple.
Odmah pored Šađi hrama.
And then there's another Chirgat.
Zatim ima još jedan Chirgat.
Now, sometimes people say this Chirgat is the one where Krishna stole the gopis' clothes. But not actually, the actual Chirgat is on the other side of the Yamuna, which we saw in the previous slideshow. Nidhuvan is the forest where Krishna and Radha rested.
Šuma gdje su se Krishna i Radha odmarali.
And there's actually a little cabin there with a bed in it
Tu ima mali
for Radha and
krevet
Krishna.
za Radha Krishna.
And beautiful deities of Shishi, Radharani and Krishna, with Lalita
Šiši
and
Radharani,
Vishaka.
Krishna i sa Lalitom i Višakom.
Then we come to the Sadbhuj Mahaprabhu temple.
Sadbhuj Mahaprabhu hrama.
And this is actually the deity of Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj.
Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj.
And everyone's heard of Jagannath Das Babaji?
Da ste li svi čuli za
Who is his
Jagannath Das Babajija?
disciple?
Ko je bio njegov učenik?
Bhaktivinoda
Bhaktivinoda
Thakur.
Thakur.
Bhaktivinoda Thakur is his Siksha disciple.
On je bio njegov Šikša učenik.
And so
I tako,
he worshipped this deity in
on je
Vrindavan.
obožavao to božanstvo u Vrindavanu.
And also he worshipped other deities known as the Sona Goranga deities, which are golden, which means golden Goranga deities.
Znači zlatna Goranga božanstva.
So that's the deity of Jagannath Das
To je
Babaji.
božanstvo Jagannath Das Babajija.
And then the famous Radha Mandal temple was established by Gopal Bhatta Goswami.
Njega je uspostavio Gopal Bhatta Goswami.
And we told the story already about the 8 Shalagram Shilas of Gopal Bhatta Goswami. That he was feeling so humble that he put them back into the Nandaki River and they kept jumping back into his hands. So he understood that Krishna wanted him to worship him in that form. So, but he always wanted to have a three-dimensional deity that he could dress, and Radha appeared in that way. So this is the self-manifest deity of Radha. Shishi Radha Ki Jai. And you can see the Shalagram Shila, if you look closely at the deity, it's on the back of the deity.
Ako pogledate pobliže, Šalagram Šila je na leđima božanstva.
And there's the appearance place right at the temple of Gopal Bhatta Goswami, Shishi Radha.
Gopal Bhatta Goswami, znači tu Shishi Radha.
And Gopal Bhatta Goswami's Samadhi is in that same temple courtyard.
Je u istom dvorištu istog hrama.
Then we come to the Radha Gokulananda temple, which was founded by Lokanath Goswami. And Lokanath Goswami came to Vrindavan before the other Goswamis in Vrindavan became his associate, Bhugarba Goswami. And he worshipped the deity. Of course, Radha Gokulananda, also Radha Vinod was his deity.
Radha Vinod, pored Radha Gokulanande.
These are the deities.
Ovo su božanstva.
Pratiguru Murtis of Lord Chaitanya on the left. That's Narottam Das Thakur's deity. Radha Vinod, Lokanath Goswami's deities. And the original deity of Gokulananda, which was worshipped by Vishwanath Chakravarti, below.
Nalazi se ispod.
Very small.
Vrlo je maleno, ne možete ga vidjeti.
Below Radha Vinod.
Ispod Radha Vinod.
And then there's a Govardhan Shila. And that's the same Govardhan Shila that was worshipped by Raghunath Das Goswami. It was given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And finally, Radha Vijay Govinda, worshipped by Baladev Vidyabhushan. This is the courtyard view of the Gokulananda temple.
Pogled iz dvorišta na Gokulananda hram.
And then we come to Narottam Das Thakur's Pushpa Samadhi.
Narottam Das Thakura.
And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's Pushpa Samadhi.
Pushpa Samadhi Vishwanath Chakravarti.
Actually, I think this is a real Samadhi, I'm sorry. This is actually where his body is entombed.
Gdje je njegovo tijelo stavljeno u
Entombed, but his body is there.
I don't remember the name. I don't know what it is.
Entombed means the body, that's where the body is. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is renowned as the Rasa Acharya. Because he wrote many stories elaborating on the intimate pastimes of Lord Krishna that no one else has heard before.
Niko nikad nije prije čuo te zabave.
Who remembers where he heard many of these stories?
Čuo mnoge od tih priča.
From the what? From the pilu tree. Where's the pilu tree?
Gdje se nalazi pilu?
Shamku.
Na Šamaku.
Okay. It's a tricky question.
To je malo.
And this is the Shila that was given by Lord Chaitanya
koju je
Mahaprabhu
gospodin Chaitanya Mahaprabhu
to Vraja Mandal Goswami.
Vraja Mandal Goswami.
Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would hold the Shila when he had it, and he would cry, and the tears would literally wash the Shila.
I bukvalno bi toliko plakao da bi suze okupale Šilu.
And he put it to his heart.
Stavio u svoje srce.
And he gave the Shila along with what's called Gunjamala,
zajedno sa onim što se zove Gunjamala,
which are little red berries, and you'll see some of them on some of the Govardhan Shilas here.
I vidjet ćete ovdje neke od njih oko Govardhan Šile.
These Gunjamalas represent Srimati Radharani.
Predstavljaju Srimati Radharani.
So the Shilas, Govardhan Shilas are always worshipped with Gunjamala.
Šile se uvijek obožavaju sa Gunjamalom.
And even you'll see the thumbprint of Lord Chaitanya that's on top of this Govardhan Shila.
Na vrhu ove Govardhan Šile.
And so Lord Chaitanya gave this Govardhan Shila to Radha Dasa Goswami in this way. It's understood he gave him residence at Govardhan and also shelter at the lotus feet of Srimati Radharani. Then there's one of the prominent disciples of Narottam Das Thakur is Ganga Narayan Chakravarti. His samadhi is in the same place. And this Vamshi Gopal temple is a very small temple, but it's very important for us. Because this is where His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada, resided before he moved to the Radha Damodar temple. For 3 years, 1956 to 1959, he resided in the Vamshi Gopal temple. And his rooms are upstairs in this temple. Another famous is the Yugal Kishore temple. The temple doorway, and that's right at Keshiga, where Krishna killed the Keshi deity. Of course, the Yugal Kishore temple was started in about 1600 by a disciple of Madhavendra Puri. So the Keshi demon was a big horse. And he attacked Krishna, and how did Krishna kill him? Yeah, put his fist in his mouth, expanded his fist, and the Keshi demon choked. And there's a famous story that Prabhupada and the disciples were Keshi God one time. And Prabhupada told the devotees to take a snan, to take a bath. And Prabhupada said, I'm a little too old for this, the water's a little too cold. So the devotees went in, they started playing, and Prabhupada was so attracted that he just went right into the water. And the devotees did like an abhishek of Srila Prabhupada, chanting the Brahmasamhita prayers. And there's pictures of this too, Srila Prabhupada. I don't have any pictures of it. And these are different views of Keshigat. And after we finish with the Keshigat, we go to the Radha Gopinath temple. Gopinath, of course, is the Prayojana Acharya. And this Gopinath temple was established by Madhu Pandit, one of the close associates of Lord Chaitanya. And the original Gopinath deity is in Jaipur right now. So this is the western gate in Gopinath temple. The deities of Radha Gopinath and Ananga Manjari on the right. Ananga Manjari, of course, is the sister of Srimati Radharani. So in this temple, Radharani stands on the right of Krishna, and Ananga Manjari stands on the she stands on, I'm sorry, this temple she stands on the left, and Ananga Manjari stands on the right, so the positions are reversed. And it's interesting, the reason for this is after the deity was made, by Janavamata. She ordered the deity to be made. Because the previous deity of Radharani was too small, so she had a new deity carved to send to Vrindavan. But they thought this new deity of Radharani looked more like Janavamata than anyone else. So they said, well, she's actually an Angamanjari. So that's how she became known as an Angamanjari. Because Janavamata's ontological position is an Angamanjari. In the same temple courtyard is the Samadhi of this great devotee, Madhu Pandit. And these deities, Sona Gauranga means golden deities of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And there's also, next to there is the Samadhi of Bilva Mangal Thakur. I think most of you know the story about Bilva Mangal Thakur. He appeared around 700 AD. In his young life, he was very much attracted to a beautiful lady known as Chintamani. And she was, probably said she was a prostitute. Probably, but nowadays, probably said what you call, maybe I shouldn't say this. I won't say this. Maybe I will. So, anyway, the prophets are what you call girlfriends, we call prostitutes. I mean, that's prophets' words, don't look at me.
Prabhupada je rekao, nemojte u mene gledati, to su njegove riječi, da ono što vi zovete danas djevojkama, to su prostitutke. Znači, Prabhupadove riječi.
Okay, don't blame me. I am just repeating the words.
Ja samo ponavljam riječi.
Anyway, she was Bilva Mangal's girlfriend.
Bila je djevojka Bilva Mangala.
And so he was so determined to see her every day. Like a moment's separation was like 12 years more. So one day there was a terrible storm, lightning, thunder. So to reach her, he had to swim across the river and grab onto a log, which actually was a dead body. Climb a wall with a rope, which was actually a snake. Finally, he knocks on her door. And she says, "Who could that be?" And she was shocked to see Bilva Mangal. And she said, "Bilva Mangal, is that you?" Because it was all like bloody, wet, exhausted. And she said, "What? You were so determined to be Krishna conscious, to be devoted." And he said, "Goodbye." And he accepted her and her words as his guru speaking. And so he headed to Vrindavan. And later on, he became attracted to a Brahmin's wife. And he said to the Brahmin, "Please, let me be alone with your wife for a while." And he said to the wife of the Brahmin, "Mataji, please give me one of your yabnas." And he took that and he put his eyes out. And he was later able to find his way to Vrindavan because he considered his eyes to be his enemies. Because they were always attracted to this mundane world. So Krishna himself later on took Bilva Mangal Thakur by his hand and took care of him. And there's a famous story where Bilva Mangal Thakur would not let go of Krishna's hand. And Krishna pulled himself away. And Bilva Mangal Thakur said something like, "You can pull yourself out of my grasp, but you can't pull yourself out of my heart." So Bilva Mangal Thakur wrote this famous book called the Krishna Karnamrita. And it's one of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's favorite books. Along with the books of Jayadeva Goswami. So Gita Govinda. So anyway, so he's a great devotee, and his writings, of course, are very elevated. I don't recommend that you all read his writings right now, because they deal with intimate love and exchanges.
One tretiraju vrlo intimne razmene Radha Krishne.
The deity right near there, Amiyanimai, which is Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Jula Thakur, there.
Krishna.
And Srinivasacharya Thakur's Samadhi. Of course, Srinivasacharya, Narottamadas Thakur. Srinivasacharya was the guru of many devotees, including King Bir, who made his whole kingdom of Vishnupura Krishna conscious when he took shelter of Srinivasacharya. This is Srinivasacharya. And this is the kunja where we chant this japa. Then we get to the Radha Kanta temple. And then inside is the Samadhi Mandir of Gopal Guru. And Gopal Guru who established this temple is quite famous. When he was a little child, he was teased by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Lord Chaitanya would make fun of him and give him a hard time. And later on, this Gopal Guru was initiated by Keshara Pandit, who was famous for his dancing. He danced 72 hours without stopping. How much time do we have? We can just keep going until the end.
Already expired, but
Yes.
All right, we're going to just finish very quick. I'm sorry, because we have to finish this. And there's the Murti of Gopal Guru. And we mentioned Gopishwara Mahadev, who is the incarnation of Lord Shiva as a lady. Here's a picture, right? Entered the Rasa dance. Then the Murti of Gopishwara Mahadev and Vamsivat. And Vamsivat is a very famous place. It's a banyan tree where many songs were written about Lord Krishna's Dasa dance. Vamsi means flute and Vat means banyan tree, so Krishna plays flute there. There used to be a tree, the Vamsi tree, I'm sorry, the Vat tree, there used to be a banyan tree that was there from the time of Lord Krishna, but 500 years ago it was washed away by the Japan. So this is not the original banyan tree, but grew from the original banyan tree. Picture of the Rasa Leela, Vamsivat. Tekado Rani Temple, and this is built by a queen in 1871. There's a newer temple. The Jagannath God, the deities were installed about 200 years ago by a great devotee. And Jnana Gudri, does anyone know what happened there? A very important place. This is where Vidura and Maitreya Muni discuss the topics that are mentioned in the Bhagavatam. Called Jnana Gudri. Lalo Babu Temple, Ramakund. Ramakund is where Lord Brahma apologized to Krishna and begged Krishna after attempting to steal Krishna's cowherd boys and calves. This is a very old temple of Ramakund. And the Ramji Temple, we're going very quickly of course, but the Ramji Temple is a South Indian temple. And sometimes the Westerners are not allowed in that temple. It's actually right next to the Sandapani Muni school. This is another view of the Ramji Mandir.
pogled na hram Vraja
And
Mandal.
finally, the Govindaji, Radha Govinda temple.
Govindaji, hram
This is
Radha Govinda.
constructed by Srila Rupa
To se
Goswami.
gradio Srila Rupa Goswami.
And what happened is it was the tallest structure in North India at that time.
Najviša građevina u Sjevernoj Indiji u to vrijeme.
Aurangzeb saw the lights or the ghee lamps of the temple were shining at the very top. It was like 7 stories high.
Vrha koji je bio visok kao 7 spratova.
He ordered his soldiers to destroy the temple.
Da unište hram.
And after they had cut down, let's say 3 stories, the ground started to shake, they got scared and ran away. So there are like 2 or 3 remaining stories in the temple. And it's one of the finest examples of architecture at that time. And Rupa Goswami also worshipped this deity of Yogamaya at this temple, the Yoga Pit. It was where Rupa Goswami found the Govindaji deity. This deity appeared to Rupa Goswami, was buried underground, and there was a cow feeding milk to a particular spot, and they dug out this deity right at that spot.
Iskopali božanstvo baš ispod tog mjesta gdje je curilo krvno mlijeko.
This is Radha Govinda in Jaipur.
Radha Govinda u Jaipuru.
And they're the center of the whole city.
I oni su centar cijelog grada.
Govindaji ki jai. And this is some of Rupa Goswami's writing, which Lord Chaitanya described look like pearls on a thread. Such beautiful writing.
Da njegovo pisanje se poput bisera niski.
There's 64 samadhis there. In that area, the samadhi of Radha Goswami, H.H.Bir Pandit, and Yamuna. And the deity of Lord Chaitanya at Vishram Stali. And the Bhojan Stali, that's where Krishna ate great boga, sorry. And the deity there of Balaram, Bihari, and Guru, that's it. Here's the Guru. With Krishna and Balaram. And that's our Vraja Mandal Parikrama. Very quickly, we didn't have a lot of time for this last one because so, Krishna said, okay, anybody have any quick questions? Anybody would like to go on Vraja Mandal Parikrama? All right. Not you?
Ti ne bi.
You're Prasanta, you don't want to go?
Ti Prasanta, ti ne želiš da ideš.
So you're all invited to come, right?
Svi ste pozvani da dođete na Vraja Mandal Parikrama.
Okay. I guess that's it. All glory to His divine grace. Shila Prabhupada ki jai.